Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kimberly Criswell, and I'm a dietitian here with Evangelical Community Hospital. Today we have a food demonstration plan for you, where I'm going to make a roasted yam salad with a maple vinaigrette. And I have some help here with me, so thank you to Drew. Share the recipe link with you during this live stream presentation in the Q&A box. Also, I encourage you to ask any questions if you'd like, and you can just type those into the Q&A box. We will definitely have some time left at the end to answer your questions, and I'd like to see your comments as well. So, roasted yam salad with maple vinaigrette. This is one of my favorite recipes, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. What we're going to start out with here are the yams, or sweet potatoes. You can see here we have a nice bright orange color to these sweet potatoes, and that's a good sign that they're a great source of beta carotene. Now that's something that your body makes into vitamin A, and vitamin A does have quite a few uses in your body. When you think about that, what do you think of? Do you know how your body uses vitamin A? Most people think of their vision, and it's absolutely essential to your vision, but your body also uses this in the creation of your cells, and then also it's part of your immune system. So this is 2 large yams. So all I've done is to scrub these off. I've scrubbed them till they're clean, and then cut them into centimeter-sized cubes. Those cubes I then roasted in the oven. So I roasted these in a nice hot oven so that you can get some caramelization on them, which really brings out the sweetness. So I basically just sprayed the cooking spray on the pan, and then spread the yams out and sprayed over the top of that with a little more spray to get them nice and crispy on the edges, and then seasoned them with salt and pepper. So this is what you get after about a half hour in the oven, and you may wish to stir them about halfway through to keep them from burning on the bottoms. So these are the yams. I'm going to set these to the side here for now. While your yams are roasting in the oven, that's a great time to start your salad dressing. So here I've got the salad dressing ingredients. There's a little bit of salt and pepper here, a half a teaspoon of each, that I will add to the bowl. I like to use a little less salt in things and substitute with some other seasonings. It gives you a nice variety of flavors, but also with less sodium in our diet, we have less of a chance of fluid retention. It helps to keep our blood pressure lower. So I like to substitute maybe part of the salt in a recipe with some garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, any other herbs and spices. Next here, I will be adding 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. Mixing that in. Then I have here a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This just gives a little bit of acid for the balance of flavor. You could certainly use any kind of vinegar that you like. I like a mild vinegar, but if you want this to be a little more tangy, you could use some distilled white vinegar, or even milder yet, you could use a little bit of lemon juice instead. So I'm adding that. And then the olive oil. I have here 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. That's a nice way to get some anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats in your diet. And this is an unsaturated fat. So unsaturated fats are more of a heart healthy fat. We get those from things like nuts, seeds, liquid oils, avocados, and olives. And that's in contrast to a saturated fat, which are the kind that are more solid at room temperature. We tend to eat those in the form of meats and dairy products. And one thing that's of concern about saturated fat is that when you eat more of that in your diet, your body tends to make more cholesterol. So then we're concerned if cholesterol is high, that you could form plaques in your arteries, and it's not ideal for heart health. So this instead is a liquid unsaturated fat that I'm using in this dressing. Okay. Now, of course, if you're in a hurry, you could just buy a salad dressing instead of making your own here. All right, so the dressing is all mixed up. Next, I have here a couple of vegetables to add. So here we've got a red bell pepper. So this is just a ripe sweet pepper. I'm going to cut the top and the bottom off here. I like to then just cut down the side here and remove the seed pod from the center. And then after you remove that seed pod, you get a nice big piece of pepper here. And I don't know if you like putting peppers on the grill in the summer, but this is a great way to do it because it's a nice big piece. It doesn't fall through the grill grates. And it's a lot easier to cut up too when you have it in a nice big piece like this. So after that, then I'm just going to cut this in slices and then cut the slices into small pieces. I like the nice small pieces because then you can taste all the flavors with each bite of the salad. And I would always rather cut up the pepper from the inside out because it seems like your knife slips around a lot less when you're cutting from the inside of the pepper instead of that smooth outer skin. Just gonna chop this up here. And here you have it, one red bell pepper. You know, these form on the plant green, and then they ripen to the colors like red and orange and yellow. So when you're eating a nice colored pepper, it's gonna have a sweeter flavor, and it's going to have a lot more vitamin C, which is actually another vitamin used in your healthy immune system. So I'll add the rest of this. If anyone's taken probiotics to help support their healthy bacteria in their intestinal tract, their microbiome, you could also eat raw fruits and vegetables to support your microbiome. There's a lot of healthy bacteria in our raw fruits and vegetables, and also a lot of fiber, which helps that bacteria to grow and protect us. Okay, so that's the pepper. Next here I have some scallions. So these are just green onions, which I've washed, and then I cut the little roots off this end, and I cut a little bit of the lighter green part off the top of the pepper, or off the top of the onion. You could use any kind of onion here that you like. Spring onions are a nice mild tasting. And if a stronger tasting onion tastes a bit too strong for you in a salad, you could always substitute an onion that you've cooked a little bit to give it a sweeter flavor. Or you could actually soak it in a little bit of ice water, which helps take away some of that strong onion flavor as well. I'm dicing this nice and small. It smells like fresh chives. Okay, so I'm putting that in there. Get the rest of that. Great. Then the next thing I have here is some parsley. I've just gotten a bunch of parsley from the grocery store and washed it, and then I put it in this cup with a little bit of water in the bottom. That helps to keep it more fresh, just like a vase of flowers. And it also allows the top to dry. I find that it's easier to chop when it's dry because wet herbs really stick to your knife quite a bit. So I'm just going to chop this pretty fine. This adds quite a bit more beta carotene to our salad here, and lots of vibrant fresh flavor. You could use any kind of parsley. This is flat leaf parsley, and you could also substitute any herb here that you like. If you're using a dried herb instead of fresh, you would need quite a bit less to get the same flavor because they are much stronger tasting. About a third of a dried herb for the same volume of fresh herbs. Okay, so here is about a half a cup of chopped fresh parsley. All right. The next thing I'm going to add here is some sweet corn. This is just purchased a bag of frozen sweet corn from the grocery store and allowed that to defrost. So this is part of the starch or the carbohydrate in our recipe here. Great, I'm just going to mix that in. Starting to get quite a bit of color here in the bowl, which I like. Now we have the other starch and also a plant-based protein here in the form of black beans. So that was half a cup of sweet corn. This is 1 can or about a cup and a half of black beans. These are a great source of plant-based protein. So when you eat any kind of legumes, and by that I mean your canned beans, dried beans, lentils, split peas, you're going to get about the same protein in a half a cup of beans as you would get from about an ounce of meat or cheese or an egg. But with these, you're not getting any of that saturated fat that raises your cholesterol. So this is a healthy type of protein. And it also is a great source of fiber. So that fiber really helps our food to digest more slowly, so we get a longer lasting sense of fullness from our meal, and not so much of a spike in our blood sugar. So it really helps to keep your blood sugar steady, giving you nice, steady energy level through the day. This is also rich, these legumes are rich in the vitamins and minerals that give us a healthy blood pressure. So these are healthy for us in many ways, and I do try to eat legumes every single day. You can put them in salads like these. You can put them into a burrito. They can be mashed into a veggie burger or something like a hummus to go into a sandwich. You can also just add them to any kind of soup or casserole. Okay, great. Now, after you've added everything here, the last thing would be the yams. So these are our roasted yams. I'm going to add those in. Give this a good mix. Allow the salad dressing to coat all of the ingredients. So a salad like this would give you about 6 side dish portions or 3 main meal portions. I would definitely eat something like this for my lunch. I frequently do eat a bean salad for my lunch, maybe on its own or with a piece of fruit as part of your lunch or part of your afternoon snack. Okay, so here we go. I'd encourage you to think about what you might like about this recipe and what you might substitute. You could certainly trade out any of these ingredients for other things that you might have in your refrigerator or pantry so that you, first of all, find it easier to make, and second of all, enjoy it. I hope it's good enough to eat and that you're tempted to prepare it in your kitchen at home. Okay, so that is everything that I had planned to share with you today. Do you have any questions for me? Yes, if you have any questions or comments, could you please type them into the Q&A box and I'd be happy to answer those for you. Okay, good. And we will be sharing the link to the recipe in just a minute. And just to review that, the ingredients here to the salad dressing were half a teaspoon of pepper and half a teaspoon of salt. The liquid ingredients were 2 tablespoons each of the olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and maple syrup. Then we used half a cup of chopped parsley leaves, 1 cup of sweet corn, 1 red bell pepper chopped, 3 green onions, 1 15-ounce can of black beans, and then also those 2 large yams, which were roasted with a little sprinkle of salt and pepper and some cooking spray. Okay. Okay. Well, we don't have any questions in the box right now, so I'd like to say thank you very much for joining me today, and we hope to do more of these cooking demonstrations in the future. Have a great day.